Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Mari Pablo. I'm coming to you from Miami, Florida. A little bit of different weather. So a little bit about me. I grew up here in Miami. I come from a Dominican family. The country, Dominican Republic, not the order obviously. Some people get that confused. I have two older sisters and I grew up in a beautiful Catholic home, which was good but a little bit challenging. Just because, I had to kind of figure out my faith on my own, separate from my parents, and sometimes that's a little difficult. Some basic things I think sometimes in our identity, like growing up, I associated myself really firmly because in Miami, I know we're like in America, but it almost feels like our own country because so many people, it's like a giant melting pot. So many people come from different areas. So growing up, I associated a lot of myself with, okay, I'm Dominican. And then other people were a lot of Cubans and Venezuelans now. That's definitely a big thing here now. But growing up, I associated my identity with the place that I was from, or being my sister's younger sister, or being my parents' daughter. I was always known as Alfredo Ingrid Pablo's daughter. It was this big thing on identity. And sometimes it got a little bit challenging, especially in Miami. A lot of things here, or in the world that we live in, honestly. It's very much a big thing on what you have, who you know, where you live, and what you do. And I think that's a big thing of the culture that we live in. You are what you do. So I'm a teacher, so I'm a teacher. I'm a campus minister, so I'm a campus minister. Growing up, I played basketball. But then what if I couldn't play basketball? A big part of my identity was kind of shaped and in regards to that. But then if what you do is taken away, are you still who you are? And I think sometimes it takes us it's big time to kind of figure that out. And everyone knows in high school it's a big thing of our identity, but I'm a campus minister now and I teach on identity all the time. But sometimes I always tell them when you get older, it's still something that you're still figuring out. I'm an adult now and I'm still growing in my identity. The difference is that I have a firm foundation, which is my faith. And so in my regards to my identity, it was a big thing, especially because I compared myself to a lot of different people. I often compared myself to my older sisters, who we look a lot alike, but we're so different. I was not your typical girl growing up, and so my sisters did ballet for 10 years. I did it for one when I was 4, and I didn't see the point of it. So after 1 year of point and flex, I told my mom that I was sick of it and quit. And then in regards to other aspects, I've never really liked Barbies, and so I just wasn't. If I am comparing myself, I didn't really fit into your typical woman or girl growing up here. And for a while, that kind of affected and brought a lot of questions to my heart of who am I, what's my purpose, and what's my identity. And in regards to bigger pictures, something of that changed when I got older. So you guys have been learning about theology of the body, and that's a topic that I firmly love to talk about because I think that all of us, it answers, you guys have been learning, it answers so many basic questions of who am I, why am I here, what is my purpose in life, and where am I going? And it's funny that for me, it wasn't until I was 20-something that I learned about theology of the body that really came to light in a beautiful way. So understand that at the root of everything that I am, besides putting Dominican aside and putting where I am aside and putting the fact that I like basketball aside, at the root of it all, I belong to the Lord and I am His. And for the longest time, I would reject this whole identity because sometimes when you hear things like you're a prince or a princess, you roll your eyes like I often did. But I kind of changed those words to say I belong to God. And my body is a good thing. And I think oftentimes our body can be seen as something bad, as something that needs to be shamed. You read in scripture, the flesh is bad. And we think that means the body is bad. But that's not the same thing, right? So being able to learn through the teachings of John Paul II that my body is good, that your body is good, that it's actually through understanding the gift of our bodies, that we can understand more about God. That's crazy. And so through understanding that, I was able to find a lot of healing and restoration. Healing in regards to my identity, knowing that I'm so much more than what I do, knowing that I am created uniquely, and I've been saying that for a long time, but like really understanding that, knowing that my body is a good thing, and that I don't have to be comparing myself, and whether I'm tall, you know, for a long time, you can't tell, but I'm a very tall person. For a long time, I hated being tall, and understanding and being able to see that these things are a gift and something that needs to be cherished. And by embracing the gift of my body, by embracing the gift of who I am, I was able to embrace more of who God is, because God is in me and in you. And on another note, like the topic of what love is supposed to be, what friendships are supposed to be, what relationships are supposed to be. Like I mentioned many times already. I have two older sisters, and one of my older sisters had a challenging relationship. So my parents have two, like, they're just incredible people, and they have a beautiful marriage, and they taught me the beauty of the sacrament of marriage, and they taught me, you know, like it says in Theology of the Body, that marriage and like the whole thing of receiving and giving and the gifts of the self. And I understood with my parents, but because of my older sister, she was in an abusive relationship for 4 years. And I was about 12 years old seeing this happen and seeing this occur. And it was really difficult for me to see my strong-willed, incredible, just like amazing sister be put in such a manipulative relationship. And for the longest time I thought like that would never happen to her, that would never happen to me, but there was so much manipulation that she was kind of in it, and she didn't see the signs along the way, and then she was too much in it, and she lost herself in that. And so growing up, even the topic of love, I associated it with pain and betrayal. And again, if we're talking about what Theology of the Body has done for me, it's brought healing to my heart. It's not only restored my identity, but it's restored my view of what love truly is. I remember the first guy that ever said I love you to me, I ended up breaking up with him because I associated love with pain. But through understanding more of that, I see the gifts and the beauty that it takes 3 to get married. And in any relationship, really, I'm not just talking marriage because I'm not even married, but like the beauty and gift of in any relationship is if God is the foundation, then we're good. If you ask me the question, what is my purpose? My purpose is, like it says in Theology of the Body, like eschatological man, that we are created for God. And all these people in your lives, and all these people in my life, think of all the most important people in your life, you know, your family, your friends, your loved ones, your kids, all these people are incredible people. Our students, they're incredible people. But no one will satisfy the longings of our hearts. Like no one. Because they're all human, and they're gonna make mistakes, and they're gonna let us down. But to know that I was created for something more than that, to know that I was created to have a profound relationship with God, to know that He is who is gonna fulfill my every longing, that in the future, in marriage or in any relationship, the fact that I'm gonna be first fully satisfied with Him, and I can't be putting that pressure on another human being because that's unfair and impossible. And I think if we're talking about our students and what we're supposed to be doing, I'm a high school teacher, campus minister. I teach, you know, juniors primarily. And I can talk all I want, but if I don't understand who I am, and if I don't understand the gift of my faith, and if I don't understand that only God can fully satisfy the desires of my heart, then I'm going to be giving what I don't have. And I think sometimes if you're like me, we just want to be there for our kids. We just want to be there for our kids. But I think we first need to stop and realize that God wants to first be there for us. There's a lot more to discover, and as you go on this journey, you're going to see there's so much more to discover. I think my main thing to remember and what I've learned is that I'm not going to settle. I'm not going to settle in my friendships. I'm not going to settle in my relationships. I'm not going to settle in the way that I teach. I'm not going to settle in the way that I view myself. I'm going to know my worth because I've learned who I am through him. So I don't know where you're at. I don't know what your relationship with God is. I don't know if you pray every day. I don't know if you don't. But I do know this. You were created for a specific purpose. You were created with gifts that no one else can possess. That you are good. Your body is good. The things that you can do in this world, if you allow him to work through you, you can be a huge instrument to God, to our, not only our students, but to every person that you encounter. I think that's been my greatest blessing. To recognize that I am nothing and God is everything. That if I just allow him to work, and if I say, God, like, you're my purpose, then he's going to show me what my real purpose is in life. My plans for my life were totally different. I never even wanted to be a teacher. But when I gave my plans to the Lord, he brought me to places and to do things that I never thought possible. And so wherever you're going through, and I know all of you have struggles because we all have struggles, and if you have those moments that you feel unworthy and you feel like you're doubting what you're doing and you feel not loved and you feel all these other lies that the world tells us all the time, or that our own heads tell us, or that Satan puts in our head, the more we give it to God, the more we trust in him, the more we know that he is the one that our heart is longing for, and he is truth, the more he will remind you of your purpose and of your goodness, and that you are loved and that you are worthy. And that is going to change not only your teaching life, because that's a side note, just your everyday life. When you wake up every day and you give your day to God, and you know that he's going to be good, and you know that he's not going to fail you because he physically can't, that's going to be a beautiful thing. And so as you continue on this journey, know that I'm praying for you. I know the difficulties of being in your position, but know that you're not alone in this, that God's got this. God's got you. He's just asking you to give it to him. And so questions for you to think of. What are areas in my life that I need to give to the Lord? And what are truths that I need to be reminded of? And so, God, we give this to you. And we just ask that you may help us to answer these questions and to see the purpose and the plan that you have in store for us. God bless you all. Bye.